míle mágat a áratáthas Lord na ráta si a brenn le Apprenticeship inniu. Tá sé soléir go bhfuil béim I bhfad níos mó cartha Apprenticeship agus cuireann fáilte sin. I welcome the fact that we have more of a focus now being put on apprenticeships, and indeed that's long overdue. And there are certainly many very positive developments in regard to apprenticeships, in regard to the promotion of apprenticeships, in regard to the work that World Skills are doing in terms of the competitions that they're involved in. And I want to commend them because they're putting high calibre apprentices from this country on an international stage, and they're actually achieving. And I think that that's something that's very, very positive, and indeed will help us, I suppose, going forward to make sure that apprenticeships do become a highly valued part of our education system. For too long, I suppose, they haven't been highly valued as they would be in countries like Germany. But I would like to see us getting to the same level as Germany and highly valuing our apprenticeships in this country. But I think making places available and valuing apprentices is one thing. But what we need to do is ensure that we're retaining the apprentices who are taking up apprenticeships. And I know for a fact that from listening on the Higher Education Committee earlier this week, we listened to a number of apprentices, and they were telling us of the challenges that they're facing. And of course that's all related to the cost of living, and indeed the fact that they're not given any sort of financial assistance or a grant. I think that's a big mistake, because I think if we're to go forward and ensure that we do have higher numbers of skilled people and trades, we need to ensure that those people are helped in order to progress through the system, and that they're not left with no choice but to opt out of the system or be demoralised. I think it's very important that we encourage them. As I say, if the places are being made available, we have to ensure that they continue on and that they're helped in that. But we heard from one particular apprentice who was doing a course in Waterford, and he explained that by the time he travels from the IT in Waterford to his home in Cavan, he has just €30 left in his pocket. And that's a danger. I feel that is exactly what I'm saying, that these people will have no choice, some of them unfortunately, but to leave the apprentices and apprenticeships, and we don't want that situation. So I would appeal to government to try and put some incentives in place, and indeed grants in place for them. We know from the experience of the Education Committee also that there are a number of changes that we need to make in the area of apprenticeships, such as ensuring that the senior cycle curriculum prepares students for apprenticeships, further education and entering the workplace as the key national priority, with guidance counsellors also we need those guidance counsellors to play a vital role in communicating the options to students. For too long now, we've had too much emphasis on the academic, and that has led to a serious gap in terms of skill shortages in industry. So I think going forward we have to make sure we're bringing everybody with us in our education system. And I know I raised on the Education Committee the other day, I do think that if we were to involve some of the young people who have taken up apprentices, if some of those apprentices were to visit schools and speak to the students, maybe TY students, and give them personal insight and indeed maybe encouragement, it would be a good thing to do and a positive thing to do in order to encourage students to take up apprenticeships. I think that would be worthwhile also. I understand that under the National Action Plan for Apprenticeship 2021 to 2025, a key priority is to increase apprenticeship registrations to 10,000 new apprenticeship registrations per annum by 2025. Under that plan, an employer grant of €2,000 for employers of apprentices on consortia-led programmes to help level up the supports which other categories of employers receive has been introduced, and I certainly welcome that. But we need to ensure that these commitments are supplemented by further practical measures to support the employment of apprentices in SMEs and to support the employment of underrepresented groups in apprenticeship and delivery of skills essential to our economy. I know the Minister agrees with me on this matter, and it is way beyond time that we radically revised how apprenticeships are viewed in this state, and indeed how they continue to be undervalued in our education system. I believe that's where the root of the problem lies. I made the point in committee earlier this week that we must remove the snobbery, the elitism and the other ridiculous biases that impact the take-up of trades upon which we all rely and upon which our economy relies. One specific area that has been receiving significant coverage this week is the lack of chefs available and the impact that this is having on the restaurant and tourism sector in general. I received a parliamentary question reply on this very issue yesterday after I asked Minister Harris the number of persons who have enrolled in the National Commie Chef Apprenticeship Programme that was launched by the Department in each of the years 2018 up to 2022. And I have been informed that the numbers registered for the programme from 2017 to this year are as follows. In 2017, there were just 25 apprentices registered. 2018, there were 112 registered. In 2019, there were 62 registered. 2020, there were 16 registered. And 2021, there were 75 apprentices registered. I understand that registrations were impacted by the pandemic in 2020. And the associated shutdown of educational and training facilities had a role to play in that. However, registrations rebounded strongly in 2021, supported by the Apprenticeship Incentivisation Scheme, exceeding the numbers registered pre-pandemic. Numbers in 2022 indicate that the recovery in apprenticeship registrations is continuing, with 33 new registrations in the first 4 months of this year. But we have to maintain that momentum. And of course, there are other issues that we need to tackle. And in this regard, I accept and welcome the fact that the Department announced a new gender-based bursary for apprenticeship employers. The bursary, which is worth €2,666, is available to employers who employ apprentices on any national apprenticeship programme with greater than 80% representation of a single gender. That's certainly all to be welcomed, but we need to do more in presenting apprenticeships in a positive light. And if we have to draw on the education model in Germany, we should do that.
Thank you, Deputy.